Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do part two. I know you all probably been hanging on my last words since my last video. But without further ado, here goes the rest of the story. Like I said, that's when the police showed up. And I laugh now, but don't get it wrong. When they showed up, there was a bit of concern, because if we're being honest, you never know. I know that the people basically called the police on me, with that angry black man call. Anytime you get that called on you, man, you never know who gonna show up and how they gonna show up. So, like I said, there was some slight tension. However, if we're being honest, I actually didn't notice when the police showed up, because I was actually on the phone talking with my finance company. Like, they want to undo the deal. Basically, how do we go about doing that? The representative was basically like, look, we already done, sent them the money. So as far as they're concerned, it's like that beef between y'all. You need to basically, if they're going to undo the deal or whatever, they need to send us, this check for however much. And once they do that, the deal will be done. Well, basically, it's no undoing the deal. It's just they're just giving the car back and they giving the money back. Sweet deal. It was supposed to be that easy, and that's what my representative was telling me when the police showed up. And so obviously I couldn't finish my conversation with the representative, but I felt like I had enough information to kind of move forward and talk with the police. So obviously when the police officer showed up, it was actually just one that showed up initially. Then a second one had pulled up. So I mean, I don't know, but basically it's, like I said, counting the three officers plus the salesperson and the sales manager, I'm up here against all of these people. Okay. But I still tried to stay cool, and I and just kind of explain the situation. Basically, of course, when the police show up on an angry black man call, once again, it is a hit or miss situation. But for one, this isn't my first time having the police called on me. if we're being totally honest, so I'm not exactly this isn't exactly new a new situation for me. However, also I have an uncle who's also a police officer, and there's been plenty of times where we've talked about situations, and he's one of the type of people that's like, look, if you ever come into contact with a police officer, one of the main things you need to do is be cool and treat them with the same level of respect that you would want yourself, which, believe it or not, I actually don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem showing people respect and things like that. It's just, when you don't get shown respect, what do? However, in this situation, I'll give them credit. The police officers were showing respect, so I was showing respect right back. They was like, well, sir, we got a complaint that you're trespassing. And I'm just here trying to figure out, exactly what's going on. I'm not taking any sides. I was like, sir, I understand your situation. I was like, basically, basically I gave him the full story that I just gave you in my last video, except I didn't have 45 minutes to explain it. I only had about 5 minutes. So, I had to leave quite a bit of details out, but, needless to say, I gave them the same story that I just gave you all, which is basically, I bought a vehicle that was supposed to be inspected, and check engine light came on, and for the last 3 days I've been getting the runaround. I was like, first they sold me a car, then the next 3 days they selling me excuses, and I only bought the car. I didn't buy the excuses. So I actually got a chuckle out of the officer, but it was serious business. And so that I gave him my story. Then he went to go listen to the dealership story. And we're all separated, so I don't even know what they telling them. They can't be telling them the truth, but what else? What can I do? So while the officer is talking with them, like I said, a second unit showed up and these were partners. So, I'm telling them the same story I just told y'all in the last video. And, I was telling them, I was like, look, I was like, I'll admit, I am angry at this point. I was like, at first I was just annoyed, but, this last situation where I was like, look, I get it. This is a business deal that's gone all kind of wrong. I get that. But there's absolutely no reason to get racial with it. And I was like, everyone knows the kind of climate that they live in. So I was like, if I seem a little upset, it's because for the last, 20, 30 minutes, I'm having to listen to people tell me what's going to happen to me when the police showed up. Okay. So, I'm trying to be calm and I'm trying to be patient. But the fact is, they're being very, secretive about what the condition of my vehicle currently and where it is. Now, they keep telling me that my vehicle is quote unquote at the mechanic, but they don't tell me where the mechanic is, who the mechanic is. And I was like, why are you sending my vehicle off to a mechanic when you have a service department here at your dealership? I was like, I need answers, sir. I was like, my vehicle is here and I can't get answers. So, the police officers, they were understanding. However, it's not just about me. It's about, resolution. And I get that. Also, where I'm at is an area in Georgia called Cumming, Georgia. Now, to describe Cumming, Georgia, I won't say that it's country. It's an Atlanta suburb. However, if you look at the demographics, it's only 2% black. Okay. So that lets you kind of know the area that I'm in. And I also know that I'm fighting an uphill battle because it's one person going up against the business. However, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know some of my rights. And the fact of the matter is I know I'm not trespassing because I have business here. My vehicle is here. And so, until I figure out where my vehicle is, I have a right to be here, sir. And he was like, yes, you're correct. And so by this time, that's when the other officer comes over here and he's basically like, yeah, I talked with the dealership and, of course, they disagree with some parts of the story. However, to finish the situation up and to get it resolved, they said that they were going to agree to call the deal off and refund your money. He's like, if they call the deal off and refund your money, will you leave the property? And I was like, sure. I was like, yeah. I was like, the only reason I'm here is because my car is here and they won't tell me where it's at. Well, not that my car is here. I was like, I dropped my car off here 3 days ago, but now they won't tell me where it is and they just expect me to leave after all of this confusion. And I'm just like, that's not that's not acceptable at this point. He was like, well, sir, I definitely understand that. And, like I said, we don't have to rehash anything. It's, they already agreed to, give you the, offer a refund and this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay. And I understand that, sir. But I was like, I do need something like in writing or something like that, kind of specifying like this is what we agreed to, because I don't want to leave here and then have to come back and straighten some more stuff out. If they saying they're going to offer me the refund, I'm good with that. We just need to be done with each other. But as it stands right now, they have the money for the car and they have the car, so I need some kind of something. And so he basically said, well, they already said that they would do it. I'm gonna put the information in the incident report. And he basically just led with now he's like, we're out here on a criminal trespassing call. However, the issue that you're having, and when he says you, he was referring to me. He said he's like, the issue you're having is now a civil matter and it'll need to be handled in court. And so I was like, oh my God. Now, here's the thing. Who has lawyer money now? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sue nobody to get somebody to do what they said that they were going to do. I mean, if you're going to give me a refund, if my money's no good, cut me. You should be able to cut me. He was like, sir, I understand. But, you know, he basically put it like this. He was like, sir, I can't, he was like, I can't make them cut you a check right now, but I can make you leave the property. And I was like, okay. Well, it's at this point where, you know, you kind of have to know, like, hey, I think I might be beat. You know, when it comes to, you know, warfare, you got to pick and choose your battles. And so it was at this point where I was like, okay, I don't know if there's anything more I can do from this point. I was like, they said they was going to refund my money. They told this to the officers. There's documentation of it. So, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully I've caused enough trouble with these people where they know that as long as I got a reason to come up here, I'm gonna come up here and cause all kind of trouble. So hopefully they know what I'm about and we can go ahead and get this resolved. So long story short on that, I told the officer, I was like, look, we'll go ahead and leave. We already got documentation over what was being said, what transpired. I was like, hopefully we don't have to go into any kind of civil stuff. Hopefully they'll just be a business of their word. And that's that. So everybody end up going to their neutral corners. I go in, check in with my wife. By this time, my mom, she texted me, telling me, hey, it ain't worth it. Leave it alone, you know, whatever. Cause she you know how I am. Then, you know, my wife, she was worried. My wife, she called her mom, told her mom, hey, you know, situation going up here. She was like, go ahead and get your prayers going. Get your intercessory going. And then her mom called my mom, and then my mom called me, and I was like, okay, you know, with all this stuff going on, maybe I should leave, because I already know the next move is my mom coming up here. You know, and it's like, you know, I don't know if that's gonna make the situation better or worse, if you know my mom. So, you know, keep it, you know, let's just keep it real. And so, you know, that's when I was like, you know what, let me just put my sword in the sheath. And you know, kind of check in with all the strong women in my life, let them know I'm good, you know, let them know not to be worried. But it's easy to say that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, even though I'm not worried, you know, my wife is actually looking at me talking to police, and she watched the news like I do. So, you know, obviously her concern level was a lot higher than mine was, you know. But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, though, you know, once again, you can't be a coward, and you can't let people or situations or even businesses push you around, especially if it's something that you can help. And yeah, that's where I figured I was. You know, part of the reason why I came up there is because I knew it was going to catch them off guard, because, you know, I had been so agreeable up until that point. So when I show up after they was talking all that trash, now it's like, okay, now that I'm here, now what? Now what's up? You know, because now you got to talk to me. You can't hang up on me when I'm here in front of your face, and you can't do business with me here, you know, trying to ask these questions. So what are we doing here? So, you know, needless to say, we all went to our neutral corners. You know, I ended up leaving. You know, I'm telling my wife about the situation, letting her know where we was at with the deal. I contact my financial institution, you know, trying to get some info on what I needed to do, you know, and they basically explained the situation. Was like, look, they can either give you the money in a check and you give it to us, or they can send it directly to us. Now, unfortunately, at that time, you know, if you know anything about car loans, anything like that, I had already had the vehicle for about, you know, 4 or 5 days. So by that point, I had already accumulated some interest. It was only like maybe $5 or so, $5 or less. However, them giving me the money that I paid them is not going to pay off the loan, not all the way. So that's why they were saying, you know, if they send it to us, they're going to have to send us the full amount. And if they send it to you, they can send you the full amount, and then you could just pay the extra or whatever. And so at this particular point, I was like, that's fine. If they go ahead and just cut me the check, I'll just pay the whatever $5, and I just charge it to the game. That's my fault for using janky dealerships. Lesson learned. And so I got that information. I tried calling back up there to the dealership. Of course, they want to play games. I told them, look, I talked with my financial institution. They told me what I needed to do. And so I can give y'all the instructions on how to get it taken care of. The person that answers, which was my salesperson, she said she was going to have the owner call me. That BS again. So anyway, owner didn't call me that day. Another day rolled past. Owner didn't call me again. And so the next day, that's when I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I get this? How do I go about getting my money? So the only thing I can come up with is I got to go back up here and talk with these people. But after the situation Saturday, I was like, well, maybe I need to have a police escort with me, make sure things don't go crazy. And so I actually called up to the police station up there, talked with a guy. Actually very nice guy. You know what I'm saying? He gave me all the information that I needed. He was like, basically, you need to go up. You can't go up there by yourself, but you can have one of the officers that was there with me that particular day when we were all up there. He was like, I could put you in contact with him. That way he can escort you up there, and then y'all can, talk it out however y'all need to do it that way. And so I was like, okay. Now the thing about it is the officer at that time wouldn't be in for another 2 days. So, needless to say, I had another waiting game. However, I used my waiting time to my advantage. I got all my information about the warranty, everything about my car deal. I was trying to go in there knowledgeable. So when we talking, I'm coming from a level of strength, a level of confidence. So anyway, during that same day, my salesperson, she texted me and basically said they giving me two options. They either they'll give me my refund for my money minus $699 like recovery charge or restocking fee, some bull crap. But anyway, they was going to be basically deducting $700 from the amount of the car that I paid. And they said that's one option, or they said that they can deliver the vehicle as is. The same vehicle that had bad catalytic converter, bad sensors. I don't even know what they did to it since the last time I seen the car. So they talking about, yeah, we can deliver your vehicle as is. And those were my two options. And so I sent them a text back and I was like, based on our agreement, I was told that the deal was off. So if the deal was off, there shouldn't be any type of restocking fee. And I was like, basically, I've already talked with, Forsyth Police. And I told them, I was like, look, I need to go up there and handle my business. And basically I'll be up there in 2 days with Forsyth Police and we can talk about it then. And so she sent me a text basically saying, look, the deal is what it is. If you come up here unauthorized, you're going to jail. Have a good day. So once again, they're threatening me with jail after I just told her I'm coming up there with the police to talk business. She talking about, you come up here unauthorized, you're going to jail. And I'm like, I have to think that you only talk to me that way. Or a person that looks like me. I can't imagine you talking to anyone else like that, whether you're mad at them or what. You're still conducting business. You're up here, threatening me with jail over a text, and we got unfinished business. So needless to say, I just left that conversation at that. I wanted to send something back ugly, but I was like, you know what, bump that. One of us got to be the bigger person. So, and plus I knew, I was like, I'll just go up there in a couple of days and we gonna handle it. So anyway, those 2 days passed. And I talked with, before I even head up there to the dealership, I get in contact with the police officer. And I explained to him, I was like, well, you already know what's going on with the vehicle, but I got to go up here because now they trying to deduct some money. And so in order for us to handle it, I need to be face to face with them. And so he was like, okay, well, we decided a time to get into, and we decided on a time to meet up, and we were just going to go, all of us, me, my wife, and the police, we all just going to go over there and talk with them. And so that's what we agreed. We set up a time, agreed to it, and so I'm heading up there, and I'm just thinking to myself, this is wild. I was like, just 2 days ago, I had the police called on me. Now I got a police escort. I guess life is funny like that. And so, we get there to the dealership. The police were already there, so they kind of kind of broke the ice with him and let him know, yeah, he coming back up here. He was like, y'all, we were here the other day. Y'all remember us. And he was saying, y'all did tell this man that you was going to give him a refund. So now he just want to understand the details of when he can expect this payment, that kind of thing. So they were able to speak on my behalf. So I didn't have to do a lot of discussion when I went up there, although I did have some questions about the situation that I wanted to ask. But when we got there, we went back there in the office. They explained to me the situation. They were basically telling me, look, we said we were going to agree to this. We're going to have to take this, $700 out for a restocking fee, XYZ, and that's going to be the options. That, or I could have the vehicle like I really wanted. And so, we go back and forth because it's like, we didn't agree on any type of deduction of any type of restocking fee or anything. On the other day, you said you didn't want my money. You said you didn't want my business. The deal is off. You don't want my money, but here it is. A couple of days later, now you're saying you want some of it. You want to keep some of it. So I'm like, which one is it? Is the deal off or is the deal on? And so they was basically saying, yeah, well, we talked with your finance company and they said they can't call the deal off because we already paid. So now basically we're just purchasing the vehicle back from you minus this restocking fee. And so I was like, this is bull crap. I was like, I came back for a full check. I'm out. So me and my wife, we stands up, we leave or whatever. We leave the office. And so we're walking to our car, and then the police actually come out there and stop us. And they was like, look, we talked with them, and the people were basically like, look, you either need to take the check or you need to take the car. He was like, because they didn't want, they don't want me coming back, man. They don't want my property coming here, and they don't want to have any reason to be done with me. So basically I had to take one or the other right then and there. And so my wife pulled me to the side. She was like, look, I know how you feel about this. And I know it's not right, but he was like, do we really want to sit here and try to wrangle with these people over $700? We could just take that, charge it to the game. And of course, I'm giving her that look like, but you see how they act and you see how they did that. They called the police. She was like, I know, but do we really want to continue to have to go back and forth? And, listening to her, I was like, yeah, I guess you do have a point. Good thing about having a strong black woman with you, talk some sense into you sometimes. And so, after talking with her and kind of thinking about things, we decided just to take the money minus the $700. And so we agreed to that. And so, once we did that, they went ahead and put together some kind of makeshift, form, basically saying they, buying the vehicle back, subtracting this money from it because it's a restocking fee. The deal is off. Woo, woo, woo. And so just a little basic, it's not handwritten. He typed it, but he typed it on the fly. When you get like some legal paperwork, he got that legalese on there. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't none of that. This looked like a daggone 10th grader wrote it. But needless to say, I signed it. They gave me my check minus the money. And I asked them, I was like, can I go ahead and deposit this now? They was like, go ahead and do it. And I was like, okay, bet. So that's pretty much how that story kind of ended. I got the money. I was like, you know what? I don't want no funny business. Took it right to the bank. Took it right there to the bank. You know, put it in there. I knew it was gonna take a couple of days to go through or everything like that. So I was like, bet. But I gotta tell you, the whole time I'm still like mad because I wanted all mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understood what my wife was saying and she was right. You know what I'm saying? But there was still a part of me that was still unsatisfied because I was like, this isn't right. You know what I'm saying? They said it was going to do this. Now they doing that. This is some bull crap. This is the stuff I be talking about. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But, you know, at a certain time, once again, you got to pick and choose your battles. However, things weren't completely bad. The very next day, you know, I contacted my bank to ask them like, okay, how are we going to, you know, how do I, you know, get this situation handled with my loan? Okay, because they already gave me a refund for the car, but you know, I'm still going to have a balance. So, you know, I'm trying to figure out how can I do it? Can I still just can I use that money for my refund just to get a car and still pay on the loan, or do I need to pay the loan off and then just get another loan? How does that work? And so, you know, they gave me my options, and they was like basically like, look, when it comes to your refund, that's between you and them. You know what I'm saying? She was like, when you're looking at it, and as far as we're concerned, they just bought a car that has a lien on it. Because at the time, you know, the bank, you know, until you pay the loan off, that's the bank's car. So, you know, the way the bank was looking at it, they was like, shit, our agreement is with you. As long as you making these payments, you good with us. You know, as long as you making these payments, you good with us. He was like, you know, he was like, you know, they basically said, I'm no lawyer, but it sounds like the dealership bought a car with a lien on it. And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? They sure did. You know what I'm saying? And for those who don't know, basically, the lien is basically the ownership of the car. And so basically until the lien is taken off, which is basically until I pay the loan off, that dealership, they can't sell that car because they don't own it yet. They won't own the vehicle off until I pay it off. and you know, for the original loan, when I took the loan out, it was for 4 years. So technically I got 4 years to pay it off. Now I ain't gonna do that, but I'm just saying I have 4 years to pay the vehicle off. So in terms that you can understand, basically they, you know, if I wanted to, you know, when I pay the loan off, they'll give me the title, then I can give the title to the dealership. Now when I do that, kind of depends on how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Because basically I'm in a situation now where I can use the money to the money that they gave me for my refund, I can use that to get a car and still be paying on the other one. Like the refund they gave me, I can pay cash for the car and own it straight up, name on the title and everything, and still be paying my loan on my other car. Since the original plan was to have a car that I paid a loan on anyway, it essentially works itself out. I hope I'm not being hope I'm kind of explaining that right. But needless to say, the epilogue to the story, the dealership is currently in possession of a vehicle that has a loan on it, a lien on it, and it'll get paid off whenever I feel like it. So, you know, it's not all bad. I mean, granted, I still have to pay the loan, but the fact is I still have a car, a newer car. It's not that vehicle that I purchased from them because I turned it in, but I do have a different car. It's already in my name. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I still got stuck with this loan. Oh, I don't even say I got stuck with it. I mean, it's what I agreed to anyway. Have a loan for a car. So, you know, really the dealership is the one that's out because now they got a car that they can't sell. And I mean, to me, that's kind of like the moral of the story, really. You know what I'm saying? You out here doing bad business. They was in such a they were in such a rush to try to stick it to me that, you know, they ended up cutting themselves out, because what they should have did was they should have paid the loan off directly to the bank. That way they can get the title, they can get the lien off. But no, they can't just send a partial payment to the bank, because they're not going to accept a partial payment and still give you the title. You're going to have to pay what's owed, including the interest that's on it. And so they didn't want to do that. They wanted to basically, you know, stick it to me, make me pay $700 for whatever. And, you know, like I said, then I have to pay the difference, which is fine. But like I said, they didn't pay attention to the fact that they was buying a car with a lien on it. And so, you know, until I pay it off, you're stuck with a useless asset. So, once again, I won't say I got the last laugh, but knowing that, I do feel a whole lot better about the situation. You know, the fact of the matter is that, you know, I think it's a lesson for them. It's definitely a lesson for me. So, you know, like I said, you can't be out here doing dirty business with folks. And if you're a consumer, you don't always have to be victimized. You need to fight for your rights as a consumer. You got to know, like, hey, if you sign a contract with somebody, hold them to everything in that contract that you're owed. Don't be like, oh, well, I don't want them to look at me as a as a bad guy. I don't want them to look at me as a stickler or that kind of thing. Bump what these people think. If they're supposed to provide you a service, if you buying a car and there's a warranty and you're protected, yeah, you need to make sure that you get everything that you're owed. And if not, you know, you need to make sure that you make enough fuss to where it's like, hey, these people need to take me serious. They need to understand I'm serious about my business. And you don't always have to, you know, like I say, you don't always have to be the little guy that takes it on the chin. Sometimes you can take on a company. You know, of course, the company I took on was, yeah, it ain't like a gigantic corporation. However, they have more means than I do. And the way I looked at it is, you know, you could have easily, you know, just paid off that loan and got the money. But no, you wanted to stick it to me, the little guy. You a big ass company, I'm a little guy, but you wanted to do it to me because, you know, I don't have money for lawyers. So, you know, I can't sit up here and sue for all the money. And, you know, with the pandemic going on, I mean, Lord knows when the court case would actually be. And all this time, I'd be without a car. So, I mean, like I said, there's lessons to be learned from this situation all the way around. I mean, yeah, there's bad business practices, but, you know, I firmly believe, especially now and going through it, that a lot of this had to do with race. Now, I didn't know it at the beginning, you know, but once I'm hearing people calling the police and throwing these slight jabs at me, I'm seeing, okay, I see why they got a problem with me. It's because I'm a black guy and I'm giving them this business. And when I mean business, I don't mean like my business for the car. I mean, I'm giving them the business like I'm giving you that work. I'm telling you, like, look, this ain't gonna happen. You know, either I need to get into another car. I need my money back. But the way y'all doing it, that ain't how it. I'm not with that program. So, like I said, sometimes as a consumer, you gotta let these people know, like, hey, I'm not with it. How you been doing business, that might be how it might be usually how you do it, but that ain't how I'ma do it. They even told the dealership even told the police officer, it was like, we've never taken a vehicle back, so, you know, we don't necessarily know you know, the particular cost that's going to be entailed of buying it back. We just want to do, you know, we just want to be done with him, period. And so, like I said, we made them change their rules. You know, I don't want to sit here and pat myself on the back, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, if I've, you know, for whatever reason, you're going to remember that first time that guy came up here and they caused us all that kind of trouble and we had to give him his money back. You know, like I said, I mean, that's maybe something that I should be proud of. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. You know, I thought the whole situation itself was really silly, but, you know, the fact is, some people, they'll push you that far to see how far you can go. I firmly believe, looking back on it now, what they were trying to do is just push everything off past those that 5-day exchange. They were trying to go past that 5 days. So I'll be on my own. And, like I said, I had to push back. And I really didn't even feel like I was actually acting crazy. Like I mean, sure, I was direct, but I guess to them that was enough. Like I wasn't raising my voice, I wasn't throwing stuff. Like I've seen my behavior before. I was like, this is actually mild. When I'm thinking when I'm thinking about my bad, I was like, this is me being mild actually. But maybe it was too much for them. I don't know. But like I said, I think the racial component was a lot bigger for the situation than I initially anticipated. But through the process, I kind of saw why I had to go through it, and why they felt like they can just tell me anything, why they felt they could just sell me anything. I mean, I was like, that just lets you know what kind of business you're doing. You go from a surefire sale to giving the guy's money back. Like that's crazy. And if we're being honest, I only asked for $100 off of what they were asking. Anybody that sold cars or anything like that, if somebody just takes $100 off the asking price, you'd probably take that 90% of the time. But like I said, I actually liked the vehicle. I wanted it, but I mean, it needed work, and I didn't have the faith to be like, nah, they're gonna take care of me. It's like, no, I don't know these people like that. And then based off of the secretive ways that they were doing and just the attitude they was giving me, I was like, yeah, I don't trust them like that. And to be honest with you, I didn't expect them to give me the money back. To be honest with you, I actually expected them to exchange it, but the process would just be contentious the whole time. Like it wouldn't be no niceness or anything like that. I just expected to be a full-on contentious relationship from that point out. However, the fact of the matter is, I don't care about that. I need to get into a car. So, but needless to say, things kind of worked out. I ended up getting my refund, ended up getting a car anyway. And like I said, man, the story was really crazy, and I was debating whether or not to talk about it because I don't want to use this channel to get too personal, and I also don't want to use the channel to just put businesses on blast that I got a personal problem with. But I just thought that, just telling the story could kind of, show people about life and kind of, show how you can kind of carry yourself when it comes to dealing with, major purchases, dealing with the police, dealing with anger, dealing with a whole bunch of things. And so hopefully you can kind of take the things from the story you need, that kind of thing. And like I said, don't worry about me. I'm not out here, looking to just fight the power and fight the police. I know a lot of people think that, but that's not the case. The fact of the matter is, I do believe in, knowing your rights, understanding your rights, fighting for your rights, not necessarily like physical fight, but you can make demands. Even with the police there, you can make demands. You don't have to just, if you have a right to be somewhere, they can't just make you leave if you have a right to be there. You see what I'm saying? I mean, of course, if they're doing the rogue thing and kind of doing their own thing, then they can force you off. But legally speaking, if you have a reason to be there, you aren't trespassing. In this particular situation, I had every right to know where my vehicle was. They told the police the reason they didn't tell me where my vehicle was because they didn't want me going over there and, causing a disturbance like I did here. And I was like, well, one, that's an assumption. You're assuming that I'm gonna do something with the information that I gather, when really I hadn't even thought that far ahead. If anything, I was just gonna call them. I wasn't gonna go over there. But like I said, I was like, sir, you're talking about an assumption here. And I was like, also too, if that's my vehicle, I have every right to actually go over there and ask questions regarding my vehicle. I can even get mad if I want to now. I mean, I don't have a right to put my hands on nobody or go into any restricted area or anything like that. But, as the owner of the vehicle, I do have that right. And so, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not, I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with a police officer, but, sometimes knowing the basics, kind of helps. And it's kind of funny because, when the police actually showed up, the time when, everything was contentious, you could kind of see it on their face that, it's almost like we was looking at each other like, man, I don't want any trouble. It's like, look, I don't want no trouble from you. And they looking at me like, man, I don't even want to have to deal with this right now. So we was both kind of like, just kind of talking, with each other, just, kind of like just a real conversation. And so, like I said, it just felt like, for me personally, I had to tell this story. Like I said, I didn't want to put the company on blast. That's why I ain't named the name of the company. That's why I ain't named the name of the people involved. Because one, I don't know if this thing might get litigious. So, with that being said, I don't want to add slander to anything that might be accused of me. However, like I said, it is a true story. You're getting one side of it. I get it. However, it is what it is. I don't have a reason to lie. Plus, I have my paperwork to back up everything that I've said so far. So I wish they would try something, but you never know. The Rona done changed the rule. It got everybody acting crazy. But once again, I just want to thank you all for listening to me. Like I said, I hope you got something from my story. It's actually not even a story, like I said, that I wanted to tell. I actually wanted to tell you about a vacation that I had. Me and the first lady, we kind of had an anniversary vacation, and so I kind of wanted to talk about what it's like vacationing during the pandemic. It's a lot different than it was before, and that's probably going to be the topic of our next video. Probably going to talk about vacationing during the pandemic, and then also during that vacation was when I guess the scandal with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina, all that info dropped at the same time. So I'll be able to kind of merge those kind of topics into one. I think that's what we're going to do next time. I didn't want this video to be long. It's actually shorter than the last one by like 5 minutes, so I guess I'm doing good so far. Baby steps. But like I said, just wanted to thank you all for coming out. This is Levon checking out on you. Bye.